the Pimps in Ball, I believe she said. Didn't seem the sort of place one takes a baby.
Not providing adequate childcare options at your Pimps and Ball. Parents need to have fun too, guys. This newspaper is simply called The Paper.
You like that? It's a Bloody Mary. Or is it a Bloody Caesar?
Having to ask this question when the taste of clamato should have been immediately recognizable in the back of your ear balls.
Why are you sitting at my table?
Because sitting on it would be unhygienic?
Stilton and I were squadron mates.
Oh, sorry.
22 Squadron RFC, most decorated aerodrome of the Great War.
I applaud the period-appropriate RFC instead of RAF, but while 22 Squadron did exist and fought in World War I, the most decorated unit was probably 20 Squadron. Wow, who'd have thought 3 hours of research to almost disprove a decade-old cartoon would leave me feeling so unfulfilled. Forever and always, lorem ipsum.
The remaining survivors of the old Double Deuce are being murdered.
Oh my God. Are we out of Bloody Marys?
Oh my goodness. He reacted to his empty glass instead of the news of the murders, and my expectations have been completely misdirected. The positioning of this window would provide neighborhood buildings with a full view of your morning routine. And at a certain angle, your morning latrine routine, too.
Oh, no, sir. Not a pilot. A Batman. An officer's personal attendant.
Only England could ruin something as cool as Batman by screwing with the pronunciation and making it about cleaning.
In charge of keeping his kit in good order.
I wish Game of Thrones had one of those. By the end, their kit fell into such disarray he was only capable of saying two things. She's McQueen, and I don't want it.
Especially when that officer was Captain Reginald Thistleton.
Ruining picture day by not looking at the camera all in the name of being used for someone else's expositional flashback 100 years later.
Bagged your share today, Scribes.
Loads, thanks.
See, you've already bagged yours.
Ew, creepy.
Wait, we get the impression that Scripes said this under his breath and with an air of facetiousness, so how did Woodhouse hear it to make it part of this memory?
No one thought we'd live through the war.
Maybe that's because 90% of your pilots were playing the piano or reading the paper instead of flying their planes.
None of my business, consenting adults and so on.
Hey, nobody is consenting to anything.
I don't think that disproves the thing that Archer thinks it disproves.
I can do baby, or I can do geezer murder mystery, but I can't do both.
Archer would be excellent at taking the actual thoughts out of my brain and saying them before I can.
What the hell is wrong with him?
He might have a tiny hangover.
Already? I mean, not that I know how long it takes for a baby to get a hangover. No, I won't Google it.
You're only supposed to give them liquor if they have the croup.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Spock.
Confusing Spock for Bones. Spock didn't have medical training, Archer. You know that. In fact, during Season 2, episode...
Nerd! Wow. A ton of stuff just started to make sense to me.
Don't worry, Archer. Lots of us discover repressed memories in our 30s. Then we look into therapy only to realize our insurance doesn't cover it and decide instead to nitpick old cartoons and move on with our lives. It's the American way.
Wow. A ton of stuff just started making sense.
You see, that joke was disturbingly funny when Archer said it, but it doesn't have the comedic weight to become a running gag. You know what it does have the comedic weight for? A sin.
Wait a second, is that tontines are illegal, right?
I get the impression that Season 2 didn't really have a clue what to do with the Archer B team, and the fact that this B plot is an immediately recycled version of this episode's A plot demonstrates that quite nicely.
By God, you will show some respect.
He will not.
I'd written him a letter, you see, so I was waiting out on the field.
But what's the point of him writing a letter when you're about to be standing face to face with the man? Sure, some things are easier to say in writing, but it's almost like the episode was more focused on low-hanging gags about repressed sexuality than making any serious point. Low-hanging gags.
Well, Reggie survived the crash somehow.
Reggie survived this crash somehow. This drink, branded drink. Why did Scripes choose this second to take a drink? Woodhouse was sitting down, so Scripes must have seen this punch coming, but decided he'd rather have a punch, this sin, and glass shards in his face instead of just the punch? Also, Woodhouse, why didn't you wait until he put the drink down? That way you'd just have a bruised fist instead of a bruised fist, this sin, and glass shards in your fist. Reggie. Also, this flare had such incredible dramatic timing that I can only assume it was emotionally charged.
Then I sort of washed up in Tangiers, where I won a bar in a dice game. Oh, which is how I met your mother.
Roll commercials. Wait, what?
Clapped out Arab traded it for a pint. Said it was sterling.
Sterling. That's what I'll name him.
Oh, for crying out loud, really? Maybe one day we might live in a world where every spy, space cowboy, and distinctly shaped mustache won't require its own origin story. Not taking your newborn still developing hearing into account before shooting your guns. Baby Archer's first and only word should have been Ma.
No, I don't have a mother. And if I did, I'd hate her.
Kids.
Idiots doing idiot things because they're idiots.
Thing I say while walking past the TVSins writer's room somehow makes it into the script.
Took good care of her, too. Say, look, no rust. Even the barrel's clean.
No!
These grown adults with combat experience decide to play around with his gun in the weirdest and most dangerous way possible so that Archer has a reason to burst in and kill Scripes because it looks like he's going to shoot Woodhouse, and I think the tone in which I'm delivering this play-by-play should make it clear how I feel about it. How the f*** does Archer get away with shattering a man off a building to his death? There are zero repercussions from this. And forgive me if I don't believe that anyone at ISIS had the required resources, desire, or mental aptitude to cover this up.
That was like Steve McQueen and John Woo had a baby.
Your slow motion shot was missing like 6 doves if you want to claim it as a child of John Woo, Archer.
It's not the first time I bashed his head in and had to cover my tracks.
Physically beating a child instead of just quitting and finding a better job.
I didn't sign up for this shit.
The hand did a fair job of stitching up the old kite this time, what?
Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, mother.
No one thought we'd live through the war.
It never changes, Jerry. War does not change. Are you crying? There's no crying in baseball.
Oh, sorry, did I get you?
No, you didn't get me. You get me, you kill me.
Well, Reggie survived the crash somehow.
I'm still alive, but I'm very badly injured.
I'm coming for you, sir!
Phrasing?